Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Left Look, and today is let's say today is Friday, the 29th,
Okay.
and
It's the
I'm here
23rd today,
with
Julian.
my
You
boys.
best
Yeah,
of luck.
but to everybody hearing this as it comes out, today is Friday.
Yeah,
That's aspirational too. We're talking about aspirations.
I'm going to talk about really current events today, and if I sound like an idiot because of that dating system forever, I will lose it.
Yeah, heaven
Yeah.
forbid you sound foolish on our podcast of all
Yeah,
things.
well, no,
Yes.
I take your point, DJ, that I am foolish pretty much as a matter of course over an episode, but the limiting it and the methodology by which we arrive at my tomfoolery, it matters to me.
I think this gives you a buy, even.
Oh,
This is giving you an out. The date was wrong. I can't be held accountable. You should be thanking Julian, really.
Yeah. This is court gesture 101 here.
I don't want an out. I want to be right. I want to be right about everything. But unfortunately, I can't even keep things like the Baltics and the Balkans straight. So who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Well, speaking of being right about stuff, I'm here with my two best friends, DJ
Hey, yeah.
and Jacob.
Brother Julian.
And this is Left Look. It's the premier independent podcast from the Gatto Institute, where we'll be taking a look at Canadian and international arts, culture, and entertainment to provide you with an unbiased left-wing perspective. Voici le podcast indépendant par excellence de l'Institut Gatto. Nous examinerons l'arts culturel et divertissement canadien et international pour vous offrir une perspective impartial de gauche. All right.
All right.
Apologies.
Oh yeah, I forgot I was gonna do that.
I apologize
I
for
feel
that.
like at this point we need a new stinger for the apologies.
Yeah,
Oh,
that'd be cool. The fascist march that I've been talking about would fit in perfectly there, wouldn't it?
Depends on the theme.
For our listeners, we've been in contact with our musical talent, and I have been working up a bit where I will have a march, meaning just like something that sounds like the bad guys theme from Star Wars, play over whenever I sound a little too authoritarian, and I think it'd be hilarious and self-mocking. But
Now that I'm thinking about it, we could probably just steal
the Star Wars
it,
one,
no, don't be
Wagner.
silly. Well, yeah, see, classical,
Wagner.
right? Creative Commons work. I think the most apt one, I think it's called the Austrian Victory March or something.
That'd be cool.
I think it's the one most people get confused with the national anthem of the Third Reich or whatever it was. But maybe something worth looking into.
This whole
Steal a snippet from that.
we're pushing the apologies bit just slightly because this whole discussion of marches has brought up a piece of media that I would love to recommend to the audience. Have you guys ever seen the movie Amadeus?
Oh,
Not the I've seen clips of it, not the whole thing.
You should
no,
watch.
I haven't.
It's what's it called? A fictionalization telling of the story of Mozart, but it's through the eyes of another court musician whose name I can't even remember, and he was a real figure who like contributed to music, right? And the whole movie is he's on his deathbed basically, and he's confessing to this priest, how much he hated Mozart because he was just so much better than him. And the first time he meets Mozart and is like young, the guy's in his young 30s, and Mozart's like 18 or some shit like that. He has prepared a march to fucking impress Mozart, and then the emperor plays it badly for Mozart as Mozart walks in for like 15 seconds, and then Mozart goes, I like the march, I'm gonna use it for something, and they're like, really, you just heard it for 15 seconds? He sits down, he plays the whole fucking thing. It's a hilarious movie, right? And it's yeah, I couldn't recommend it enough. It's not leftist at all, though. Like, to get back to the Gatto Institute's mission statement, nothing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I really thought you were going to talk about March of the Penguins there for a hot second, but maybe next week.
Musical marches, Julian.
Yeah. Well,
Anyways, moving back to the apology segment, we have an apology not from the Gatto Institute, but that we've been instructed to send. And this is from Chairman Kim, in fact. Chairman Kim was slighted on the podcast of Aiden Ross, or the streaming services of Aiden Ross. Aiden Ross said he was going to have Chairman Kim on the show, and then he had some actor show up instead, and it was the greatest decline in viewership in recorded history. The most instantaneous decline of viewership in the recorded history. Yeah. And Chairman Kim just wanted to reach out and say that he would have loved to come on, but he never received an invite, and that's the message from the leftists this week.
Dang. Leaving out good old Kim time and time again. It's no wonder this dude's a hermit.
Yeah. I don't know any of those people who you're talking about, but I feel bad for Kim. You can come on our podcast.
You know Chairman Kim, you fucking idiot. Come on. Think with your head.
Of North Korea?
Yes. Who else could that be?
I don't know. I would use his proper name.
What's his proper name?
Kim Jong-un?
Yeah. Chairman Kim makes it sound like it's a friend. You know what I mean? So it leans into the bit.
Well, I thought he was a leftist media figure of some sort who was just playing on the North Korea thing.
With the chairman... Whatever.
You could be Chairman Jacob, like, on this show. That would be pretty funny. That would work, too.
No, I would appreciate the title General Secretary of the General Secretariat, but whatever.
It's a good title to put on your door, but not to say out of your mouth.
Yeah.
It was,
unless you're like
Stalin's
royalty and they're announcing it as you come into the room. It's Jacob Flanagan, the General Secretary of the General Secretariat and the leader of men. And...
What's his face? Xi Jinping and I think Chairman Kim, as we were just talking about, both still use the title General Secretary to this day. General Secretary is a great fucking title when you think about it. Like, so the symbolism behind it. I mean,
what could you divulge some of this information? Because I am dumb.
You don't get it.
I'm just thinking of somebody sitting in an office.
Yeah.
So what is the role of a
servant? Almost.
What is the secretary role usually, right? It is to serve, to take notes for, to fucking to serve, right? And so if you're to serve as the secretary for the party that represents the state, right? You are as close to becoming, embodying the state by being its representative, by being its agent, right? Like, if you were to mess with somebody's secretary who's delivering you their message, that would be a personal slight to them, right? And therefore, by extension, insulting the general secretary would be an insult to the state. It's a funny fucking title. Let's put it that way.
Well, I hope these secretaries have really nice chairs. Great lumbar support.
Yes. Ergonomics is everything.
Right? So important. So important in our current society's sedentary workforce.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speak on it, King.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Don't forget to go home and exercise. That's really important. Daily stretches. Because you got to stay limber. Because the man doesn't want you to stay limber. And
yeah,
you gotta. When they come for you, you gotta be quick. You gotta, stay on your toes.
Yeah.
So they won't be expecting that.
The man wants you to be stiff.
Yeah.
In
like
a bad
those
way.
Wally potato people in their chairs.
Yes.
Moving into the next bit. 2023 seems to be the worst year on record for fans of the hit movie Get 'Em to the Greek. Did you guys ever see that one?
No.
Jonah Hill and what's his name? Russell Brand.
I didn't realize they were both in it.
Yeah. I was under the impression that Kanye was in it too, but it's actually Diddy, and I've mixed them up, and that would have been the trifecta. But I don't think Diddy's done anything. I think he killed Tupac actually. Whatever. No judgment, but it was a hilarious movie, and I don't think I'll ever be able to watch it again now. It sucks.
Why?
Jonah Hill is a little tasteless now after the messages with his girlfriend have been leaked publicly in the news. I don't know if you've seen those.
Nope.
He Yeah, I don't even really want to describe it because I feel like I'll fucking put my foot in my mouth. But he started dating a hot girl, and then got mad when she was doing hot girl shit, basically.
Yeah, that she
Damn.
had an OnlyFans or something.
No, not even that. That she just like wore a bikini on her Instagram or shit like that.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
even better.
Yeah. And then Russell Brand, slightly worse crimes. I'll say that is being prosecuted for rape in England. In England,
Yeah,
right?
not a good look. So we're gonna censor this film now? Is that what
I'm
you're suggesting?
I'm saying that it's gonna be a while before you can justify being like, get him to the Greek. We should watch that one. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna have to watch it for the first time, I think.
Oh, it's so good, Julian. You're gonna love it.
Yeah.
It's so silly. It's nonsensical.
That
And
is kind of my vibe.
it is. It is. I didn't mean to square you, you know, too imperfectly, but I'm gonna have to do an apology bit next week about getting mad that you didn't know who I was talking about with Chairman Kim. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay, man. You don't have to do it next week. You just did it now.
Yeah, congrats.
No,
Welcome
but
to Left Look. This is the. I already forget the bit.
how can you forget the
Premier,
bit? We do
premier.
it every
I was
week.
stuck on senior independent podcast, but I knew that wasn't right.
It now is the senior independent podcast, just so you know.
Yeah, give it a few years.
we just crossed 56, I think. Or
Oh
just
yeah,
56?
true. This should be 59, I believe.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a couple in the backlog now. DJ very cleverly punted them to me the day before the podcast, so I am once again the backlog. Or the
Yeah,
the
I
bottleneck.
definitely didn't slack all week and go, oh no, it's Friday.
Yeah.
So
Charles
it is
appreciates it.
Charles doesn't care as long as the ticker goes up. Charles is fine.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah, no. I was looking at our metrics. They're doing okay.
Are they? I don't want to hear about them until we're doing really well.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Well, you know what? Usually I'd love hearing about them, but right now I'm in school. It's added extra stress, and like hope that I
Yeah.
wouldn't have to do school ever again is like it's too much for me right now.
You're using a twig as a crutch, which is something
Yeah,
I advise
just-
against.
Just absolutely no good, right? This is a creative outlet.
Yeah. That is the healthiest way to look at this.
Anyways, next piece of news that I wanted to move into. It's been
Could I interrupt you for a second?
absolutely yes, please.
Oh, thank goodness, thank you. The fellow you were looking for earlier is Paganini, the famous Italian violinist who was just absolutely dunked on by Mozart in their later life.
Dude, why wouldn't you interrupt me at the time if you knew that?
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna oddball a name, but then I thought I don't want to be culturally insensitive, so I looked it up first.
Well, you should have oddballed the name. Being culturally
I was gonna
insensitive is,
go with
like,
Pagliacci,
right
but that's the opera, and that would have just
and
then
I
I would have been the clown.
and I would have been like, "Are you sure it wasn't Porco Rosso?" And then it would have been great. Like, now we just have this shell of a bit. Oh,
Yeah.
well.
You sure it wasn't Super Mario?
I can always
don't know.
count on
This is-
Julian.
Some good meta humor. I dig it. We're funny. And see, now we're past the point we've already explained that we're not doing this in bad faith, so there's no repercussions.
The
We're
whole
just-
show is bad faith. In fact, basically all of leftist criticism is in bad faith because we know that our our demands will never be reached. So comedy is our main outlet, right? Satire. Sorry to interrupt.
It's all right. It's all in bad faith. Just keeping it metal, man.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to tell on myself too much. One of my favorite quotes is by Maya Angelou, and it's when I don't remember the exact wording, but when people tell you who they are, you should listen. And I tell on myself all the time with shit like that. And I now have like dozens of hours of podcasts devoted on telling on myself like that. So whatever.
And brother, we're listening.
Yeah, I know you're listening, but you're still around, so that means I'm not too distasteful, right? Or maybe this is all one big entrapment. Wow. That'd be fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
Sorry. Knock, knock, knock. FBI, open up.
You have a
This
bad
is where we
podcast.
this is where we pull the trigger on you,
It wouldn't
Jacob.
even be that. You just need to cancel me at the right time sometime later.
At your graduation.
That's fucking awful.
Just walk on stage and stuff the diploma. Just like, no.
Yeah,
Canceled.
No, it's a stick of dynamite with the fuse lit.
All right, sorry, I didn't think this was Looney Tunes now.
Yeah, my fucking smile spins around my face and turns into a frown. Anyways, piece of news I want to move into next. Have you heard of the controversy surrounding Senator John Fetterman, either of you?
The name's familiar, but no.
I'm also going to say no.
Fetterman is a leftist. I want to say he's left of Bernie Sanders.
Uh-oh.
He is I'm going to just describe him physically because I feel like it makes up part of this vibe of this story. He's like a tall, big white guy. He's bald. He has a goatee. He refuses to wear anything but shorts and t-shirt all year round.
Oh, yes.
basically.
Right.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He suffered
I've
a
seen
stroke.
photos of him for sure.
He suffered a stroke last year. He's in recovery. He seems to be doing very well. I saw a very heartwarming piece today, actually, with him in it, where he was talking to people with disabilities. There's some bill appropriating funds for people with disabilities coming up, and he was talking about his struggles with the stroke, and he said, before I had the stroke, I thought I was an empathetic person, and afterwards I can tell you that the depths of emotion that I couldn't even feel without the personal pain, it's embarrassing to me, and it's like, oh, that's such a nice sentiment. But anyways, he is in the news, basically exclusively on Fox News, for refusing to follow the dress code of the Senate. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you guys respect, both of you think that, right? And I would like to point out the difference between the three of us here when I say, wear a fucking suit, John Fetterman. God damn it. That's the people's house. Yeah, I mean, it's not even my government's house. Show some respect.
There's
Nah,
nothing
man.
worth respecting in the American government.
Yeah, if people can't respect you, then it's reciprocal.
Yeah.
He'll wear the suit when he gets the respect.
It's not even
Hello.
like a thing like it should be respected. I don't think that. Come on, please think higher of me than that, right? Like it's bad politic to not just show the fucking respect. You know what I mean? Like there are too many morons that you would have to convince about all of history and why America's evil when you could just wear the suit and just get their vote. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I suppose. If I were him, I would go fucking Don Cherry in that.
Yes.
In that.
house. Don Cherry.
I'd wear the suit, but it'd be fucking bright orange.
Don Cherry is haunted by, the ghost of his own racism at the end of his fucking career. But more importantly, he's now haunted by the specter of Jordan Peterson, right? Who has a similar fucking outlook on suits, which is that there should be a different and weird suit. Yeah,
That's fun.
that old school cool might be, losing its shine a little bit. One Canadian to another. Just the torch didn't pass well.
Yeah, look who shares your style, Don Cherry. Look at this man who's addicted to horse tranquilizers
Yeah.
and misgendering people.
Yeah. I love watching him on his daughter's podcast. You should watch a compilation of him going on to his daughter's podcast. Fucking so good. His life is so terrible and sad.
What's the daughter's podcast about?
Yeah, let's hear about
Politics
that.
as well. She's completely just jumped onto her father's fame and is like a right wing fucking marcher herself, but stays in the realm of reality a little more. There's no Jungian fucking analysis. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Should we have her on?
Indoctrinated youth.
can we have her on?
Should we have her on?
Well, we could try, I guess. If we could squeeze her in between Drake and Ice Spice.
Yeah. We do have a big lineup coming, everybody. No, we should get another guest on at some point.
Nah, we can't have Ice Spice on because I would just be like gooning the whole fucking episode, and then the whole bit would be gone, right? Yeah,
No, that
whatever
could
you
be the
say.
bit.
That's such an ugly word. I fucking hate that word.
I think it's such a great word.
I mean, it definitely captures the activity. I'll give it that. Yeah. Now all I can think about is jerking off. Thanks, Jacob.
Wait, is that what that means? I thought gooning meant like fucking obsessing over a woman and fucking being so confused by her beauty, basically, that you couldn't talk to her because you were so confuzzled.
Yes, but in a sexual capacity.
Yes, of course.
Like an active sexual capacity.
Isn't everything in an active sexual capacity? The great lesson of Freud. I
mean, maybe. I've never heard it used like that, but now I'm curious. DJ, do you want to try and steer us in a different direction, or should I start Googling things?
I just had to look up the term myself, and it was very inconclusive. But hey, in other news, bip, 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 bip. Did y'all hear about Bill C-56 or whatever the hell they're trying to pass through recently?
No. I mean, maybe. I don't like numbers.
That sucks for you. This is why you don't play Minesweeper. It's all coming together. I've read about it very briefly before we started recording, through like some half-baked news outlet that, inshallah, mashallah, I was allowed to read.
Inshallah.
No. Inshallah is... Shush. No. This is not the place to be discussing things neither of us know about.
We apologize to the Ummah. Go.
Yes, thank you. Bill 56, I actually don't know if it was B56 or C56, whatever. It's going to the floor soon. This is the Liberals' pathetic attempt to get food prices down.
Oh, yeah.
And essentially, what I grasped from the summary is that essentially all this bill is going to do is make the competition board, the board of capitalist competition, more powerful.
That's cool.
Shrug. Cool. Great. Because they can step in and say, hey, stop monopolizing things, and wag their finger threateningly.
Yeah. I hate to, look a gift horse in the mouth. That is good news, right? But like the only solution to things right now is price controls. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Lock prices, actually decrease prices back to pre-pandemic levels. Let these companies take a major hit next year. Mm-hmm. They've just had the best year they've ever had on record. Yeah. Literally the policy prescription is fuck them. You know what I mean?
It should be. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's the worst part. You could do that, and then they'd probably still come out ahead. That's how much money they've made.
Yeah. There's no historical timeline where they don't come out ahead. Even after I club them with a windfall tax that makes them like scream communism on Fox News for years and years. You know what I mean? Like, they win. The
I think it should be nationalized. It's fucking nationalize the grocery stores.
I agree.
You know what? It just be easier.
You know what I was thinking should be nationalized the other day? Just yesterday, actually. I ordered Apple earbuds to my house. Usually they just show up to my house. But this time they got stuck at the post office. There must be a new policy because of stolen items or some shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I go in. Shoppers Drug Mart is the post office. I just realized 7-Eleven was always the post office in my mind, right? But then Shoppers Drug Mart is the pharmacy and the grocery store and the post office, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this is all fucking backwards, right? Like, why is a corporation running this shit? We should be running this shit. No fucking problem, right? You leave one person a title, that's a job that gives them $100,000 or whatever to manage that location, and think of all the services you've just provided to the community, right? And someone's gonna work really hard to maintain that job because that's a lot of money for a fucking easy job. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, so many things should be nationalized. We were on, I don't think the episode's out yet, but we said weed stores last week should be nationalized, right?
Yeah, a theme coming together here.
Yeah, and why not lump that in with shoppers while you're at it? Just wad them all together.
Yeah.
I think at this point it would probably be the best course of action to just buy them. Just buy all of them. Like I'm trying to think of a small town that doesn't at least have a Shoppers.
Yeah.
And I'm really drawing some blanks like except for, Cathcart, Gobles, middle of the nowhere towns that
Buy
you
them
drive
as
through.
Hey,
Why
don't
the-
fucking rag on Gobles like that.
What's Google's? Sorry, before I go back to the point.
Small little town.
Okay, fuck it then.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, I lost my point. That's no good.
Shucks.
No, Shoppers is a part of loblaws, isn't it? They could just nationalize them all at the same time.
Oh, I got my point. Don't buy them, DJ. We can be way more, what's the word? Perfidious.
Egregious.
Yeah, than that.
Aggressive.
We can, we'll just institute a law that says, every corporation that operates a post office now owes $5,000 a day to the government for the privilege, or some shit like that, right? And nobody's gonna fucking do that, and so they'll sell. It'll collapse the price of their fucking property right away, and we'll just buy for pennies on the dollar.
I feel like what'll happen is they'll just rip out the post office and say, okay, fuck that then.
Yep.
Have fun not sending mail anywhere.
Addendum 2, Law 1. Anyone removing a post office in the next 6 months is subject to criminal charges.
We're bringing back the death penalty.
No, imprisonment
Wheel
and
in the
fines.
guillotine.
30 days, hundreds of thousands of dollars. The message, the usual message. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, you would just write the law saying Shoppers is now owned by the crown.
No, you
Great,
can't do that
thanks.
shit, right? Then the Americans get all pissed and are fucking, what's it called? The markets go through the fucking floor because the headlines read that these commies fucking did this. But if you manipulate it and do it over weeks and through fucking weird processes of law, nobody's gonna care. Nobody will understand. And all of a sudden, I've got all the fucking Shoppers in my hands, right?
Yeah, you just make it so convoluted nobody can follow it.
Yes, no one will follow a 4-week story, Julian. No one. Yeah.
So, would we still call it Shoppers? Because I think that's a pretty good name, Shoppers Drug Mart.
It is
Shoppers
a pretty good name.
Shoppers Canada or something like that. I was thinking. Drug
Yeah.
Mart is no good because it would become more than that, right? Like.
Well,
and-
it already has.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, Drug Mart is one of those weird non-words that can mean anything. It is a drug mart. I go there for drugs, and it is a market, and I find other things there too, which is fantastic. They're all
it's
overpriced, which sucks. But
It's a
here we
drug
are.
dash mart, not a drug mart.
They could be involved in making things a 15-minute city as well. That could be nice, right?
Mhm.
Like if
Yeah,
you
definitely could.
Yeah. Those fucking little retailers like that, those are the key.
hmm Well, I think the key is density. That we need to put people in tighter places. And
Yeah.
then institute rail fucking all over the place. But
On the
for
first floor of every building, you put a Shoppers.
yeah, for the fucking system that we have right now for cars and shit, little Shoppers marts all over the place for sure, right? Like,
Yeah. I wish we had 15-minute cities.
Yeah, but here we are.
you want to talk about 15-minute cities, Julian? Your understanding of why the right hates them and like. Why
Well,
they're
I
good?
think they've just been made to hate them. I don't think they have any innate hatred for it.
Expand.
Well, because to them it's just another WEF agenda. They're like, oh, the World Economic Forum wants us to live in 15-minute cities, so it must be bad. And it's like, no, I don't think they're pushing for that, one. And two, it would be so much better for you. You'd be so much happier. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
think
I think a lot of people. Sorry, Jacob. I think a lot of people see that as a dying ember of the Communist Party of Russia. You know, these 15-minute communist cities, and they're dilapidated now. Look at them. They're awful. They're terrible. Look at these sickly nannies living in their 15-minute cities because the government oppressed them. But you look back at the time when they were actually being built and when they were in their heyday, and these people were just like, yeah, great. This is super. I go downstairs, I buy my groceries, I go to work, I walk 5 minutes, I go to work. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Julian,
USSR put everyone in a home. Like,
Julian,
that's
you
crazy.
laugh.
Yes.
you laugh, but that was the policy prescription. Article number 1 of the Lenin Constitution, 1924, the Stalin Constitution, 1936, and the Brezhnev Constitution, 1977.
Oh,
So,
for real?
no, that's a joke.
No.
But I'm glad you fucking admit it, though. I love that.
I was like, oh man, does the USSR have historical precedent for 15-minute cities? I'm
God,
way
fuck,
more on
I
board
love
now
that
than
you
I
just
was.
were all over that. Like, Moscow, the 15-minute city.
They were building subways, man. They were big on public transit. I get
They
it.
were big on public transit, but no way they had that fucking phrase. You know what I mean? Like, God damn, that was great. I've been doing a class on comparative constitutional law, and that's why I was able to conjure up those fucking 3 documents as something fun to fucking rely on for my lie.
You got me.
Yeah. What's the next thing we want to move into? What about fucking the F-35s? The F-35, I should say.
I take it it's a jet.
It is a jet.
Nice.
Where in
Okay,
the-
I've
Where in
contributed.
the world
I'm out.
is that F-35?
Yeah, you didn't hear this news? Seriously, DJ?
I didn't. Why would I? Why would anybody?
It's missing. They put out an Amber Alert for their pretty plane.
A plane was missing because during a training exercise, a pilot ejected, and then the autopilot system just kept running, and then the fucking geolocating system disabled for some reason. So there was just this $5-10 million fucking jet flying around in the fucking skies, right?
You're telling me the rogue AI got its hands on one of the most advanced piece of flight machinery?
It just went for a fucking joyride, though. It wasn't doing anything serious. Like,
Dang.
yeah.
So anticlimactic.
Yeah. I saw a fucking great meme that came out admittedly only after they had found the wreckage or whatever of the plane. That it was like, "Where's our F-35?" It was a Poland ball style meme, and it was a where is our F-35? And it's America, and Ukraine says, "Oh, I know," and then the CIA ball goes, "No, you don't," and it was great. It was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw one where it was just wedged in the Suez Canal.
Fuck, that's so good. What a callback.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you guys remember 2 seasons ago when that boat got stuck there? That was good.
Yeah.
that was like
yeah,
3 or 4 years ago now.
I had heard recently there was another pair of ships that got stuck, but
Yep.
nothing came of it, I think.
Yeah. They're
I
on
think-
high alert now.
Yeah, after Evergreen or whatever it was got stuck, they just know how to get them out now, which that blows, honestly.
Well, that's what we get for letting the Egyptians run the Suez. Should have never left the empire. No, I'm just kidding. That's a joke. What's his name? Abdel Nasser, the guy who nationalized the Suez Canal, has this great line. It's like, "It was built with our back and our blood and our skulls." You know, like our backs, our blood, and our skulls, and
Right.
it's ours. It should be ours. And then he used the profits from it to make the Aswan dam in the south, which provides power and water and regular fucking agriculture to all of Egypt. That's a great man right there. And he was demonized in America during his lifetime. I mean, like, you know, another man who was demonized during his lifetime in America, and after his death still, is Muammar Gaddafi. You guys know him, right?
Right. Yeah.
Leader of Libya. I saw the greatest fucking TikTok with him recently, and it was maybe a 10-second video tops, right? And it was a clip of a purple and blue-haired lady talking to the United Nations, and then it transitioned to Muammar Gaddafi throwing a paper away at the UN at the same spot, talking to the UN, just turning around and throwing a paper away. And that's not funny in and of itself, but the music they picked was Juice WRLD, all girls are the same. And so there's just this sad boy mumble rap going on with these hi-hats going on behind it. And then it transitions to fucking Muammar Gaddafi. Like, he's better than all those women. You should love Muammar. A great man. And
Was he?
oh yeah. Yeah, I'll go to bat for Muammar.
All right.
He killed all those people. If that's your question, absolutely. I'm not denying any of that shit. But like the prosperity and peace that he brought to Libya, the rivers, the man-made rivers, that's the kind of fucking bold, visionary shit that I want fucking done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna irrigate my whole fucking desert country. Fuck you. Get out of my way. Or I'm gonna make a currency for all of Africa, right?
That's a great move.
That one got him got. That was
I commend him for that one. Yeah.
That one got him what's it called? Buggered by a bayonet. So
Yeah.
no good.
We came. We saw. Oh, never mind. I fucked that up. Let's move on.
You know,
We came. We saw. He died. That's what they said.
Veni Vidi Vici is actually a Weni Weedy Wikey. It really makes me lose respect for Julius Caesar when I remember that it's Weni Weedy Wikey.
Doesn't sound as good, does it?
No, it just doesn't. I think we should take advantage of this, what's it called? Sign linguistic trick to get boys away from worshiping things like the Roman Empire. Speaking of which, how often do you guys fucking talk about the Roman Empire? Think about the Roman Empire.
DJ.
Literally only
Please.
when you two bring it up.
You know what? Fine. How often do you think of the romance of the Three Kingdoms?
Slightly more often than that.
Yeah, get out of here then. That's the Roman Empire and the other side of the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm sitting around sighing and flicking my hair and twirling my telephone cord as I sit on the other side waiting for the Three
You
Kingdoms period to
are.
pick up.
Yeah, you are.
I mean, I wish I was. Fuck, I wish my brain was that on. But thankfully. Sorry, I
Julian
stopped
asked-
thinking there for a minute. What?
Yeah.
Julian, how often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Well, Jen asked me the day this TikTok trend started to go around.
I was all over it the day the fucking trend. I watched maybe 50 videos of boyfriends answering that question. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I could tell just from the way she asked that it was a part of some kind of online trend, and there was a certain answer that I was expected to give.
Admiral Akbar flashes in Julian's fucking
Yes.
brain.
But I had no idea what the typical answer online might be. Like I'd never really considered the question. I have no idea how much average men think about the Roman Empire.
Mm-hmm.
So I answered honestly, and I said once every 1 or 2 days. And she said, "What?"
Yeah,
Apparently, that is the typical answer.
it's not the typical answer, but it's on the upper end of average, right? I think once
Yeah.
a week was what I saw was fucking pretty typical.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought they were all saying every day.
For me, it's every day. Like
3 times a day, you said.
yeah, 3 to 4 times a day is like what I think I said, and it's in every facet of like how I interpret society, right? Like I use it as a lens to view society, right? And for these women online, it's because it's a metaphor, for God's sakes, right? The Americans, if you read the Federalist Papers, the founding documents of your country, basically, right? They base the whole system of government that you have on the Romans, right? And the Romans have a very readable fucking history that you can just go read, right? And so I love to think about what happened to them might happen to you if you just interpret it for different things, the different material conditions of today, right? And so it doesn't make me a warmonger. It doesn't make me a fucking woman hater, right? Because that's how women are fucking interpreting it, right? They long for the days when they were the pater familias, right? And they owned us all as property and they could dismiss us at will. That's the interpretation online, right? And it's like, suck
fair.
my ass, right? That's not what this is about, right? I'm worried about the Romans killing 1 million Gaelic people with swords. With swords!
No.
They scare me, the Romans as the Americans, right? And that's why I think about them all the time. And also because I've been thinking about it since I was 6 already, and I loved the Romans before then, and I couldn't explain that.
Fishbomb had the best tweet on the topic, I think. It was just like, oh, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? And he said, lady, we're living in it.
That's so good.
That's it.
Yeah. How often do you think about the Roman Empire? I love that women get upset about that, but I
don't know if they're upset. Just surprised.
No, it's upsetting. The phenomenon.
You've actually watched the videos. You do know better than I do, I think.
Yeah, it's because then they read into the Roman Empire at all, right? And it's like, wow, that is so not PC, right? We just got out of the Me Too era, right? And crucifixion was the punishment for basically all crimes for slaves, right? In Roman Empire. So, yeah, I don't know. During the Third Servile War, the one with Spartacus, right? They hung a slave on a cross every mile along the entire road that goes down the entire length of Italy. So they just crucified someone every little bit just to be like, hey, don't you fucking do this again. We mean business, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Romans. The guy who did that, Crassus, he was killed by Parthians pretty brutally, so he got his. That's all I can say. I would rather be killed by the Parthians than crucified, though. Crucified sounds fucking terrible. Just tied there and left to die in the sun. Like,
does not sound like a great time.
I would like to point out for crucifixion that all the crosses were X's. They were never Christian crosses. And never ever did they nail you to it. That's fucking crazy. That would kill you too quickly. It would put you into shock and things like that. That makes it too easy for you, in fact. They would castrate you and then singe that fucking, what's it called? Smooth after with a brand. Yeah. And because the pee build up over 3 or 4 days that it would take to kill you by exposure to the sun and lack of water, while excruciating, right, would not kill you. And so they fucking it's added punishment. Plus your dick's just been cut off, so that's pretty excruciating itself. And then branded on top of that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
fucked up.
It's not weird to think about the Roman Empire. The end of that bit. Fuck.
Making a great defense for yourself.
God damn it.
Cleared that up for everybody.
Julian, no, not Julian. DJ the other week was talking about how when I dig one hole, I throw the soil over my shoulder and into the other. It's a fucking image that I have now on repeat in my head.
We just keep coming back to Looney Tunes because that's just a standard bit too.
Yep. Yeah. What's up next? We got more stuff?
I don't really have a lot left. You guys got something you want to talk about?
Could keep shitting on the Romans for another 15 minutes. I mean, I'm not much help in that department, but
yeah, me neither.
The Romans, much like the Americans, started as a criminal state. Did you know that? In their fucking founding documents.
How dare you say that about the birthplace of civilization,
freedom,
democracy?
How dare you slander Romulus and Remus?
No, the first thing that they did after Romulus formed the city is that Romulus invited every criminal and runaway slave to help found the city, and then right after that, the next thing they did in their lore was it's called the rape of the Sabine women. And they went over to the next tribe over, and they took all the women, and they just went home with them. And then there was a fight between the two cities after they had taken the women. I don't know why there wasn't a fight before then. It's a mythic story. And anyways, in their founding documents, they're criminal, right? And they admit to it that they attracted criminals, and then they went out on a criminal campaign. Like,
Yeah, I mean that one of their favorite pieces of lore is that Romulus fucking murdered Remus and just
No,
tossed him into the river.
that's got super law written all over it. This is a fun bit because the pomerium is the source of this bit of knowledge. Part of my online. I'm not going to reveal my full online name. Fuck that. But pomerium is part of it, and the pomerium is the Latin word for a Greek concept, which means the center of the city that is also walled within the wall and is like a citadel within the walled city, right?
Cool. Yeah.
And within a bunch of cities within ancient time, the pomerium had all sorts of religious significance inscribed into it, right? So if you were going to cross over the threshold of the pomerium, you couldn't be armed, right, or things like that, right? You couldn't, for instance, in ancient Rome, you could only cross over the threshold in certain areas of the pomerium, even though there was no wall there after a couple hundred years, because they were the gateways of the pomerium, right? I think it was Pompey tried to march 2 elephants through and then had to have the gateway expanded before he could march the elephants through. And he would rather do that than march around the fucking gateway and breach the pomerium, right? Because that was sacred law and sacred land that Romulus killed fucking Remus over, right? And so that's fucking spooky to me that's always received the extra fucking legalese, but everything else was just like, no, we're barbaric despoilers. We're here, we're here for war, right?
Yeah, a one fancy piece of land, sure. Kidnapping and raping a bunch of women, we'll let that slide.
Yeah,
That's cool. That's fine. That gets an A.
they needed the women to be able to sustain the colony or whatever. Fuck, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. No great. But they conquered the world, and I'm probably going to amount to nothing. So,
You can still be morally correct.
that's what I like to think. I'm morally reasonable enough, good enough. I tried.
You try. Here's your gold star. Bip.
Thanks, brother.
Gold star in morals class.
Here's a line that I thought was really, really funny. 3 times as many Brits think that the Earth is flat than think that ex-Prime Minister Liz Truss did very well in her time as Prime Minister.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That tracks.
That's rough.
Yeah. 3 times. What can the stats be on that very well? What is it, like 3% and 1%? Those are numbers that make sense to me, but it could be even less than that. It could be like 0.5, 1.5, 0.3.
Could be.
I kind of miss her.
What?
Yeah. Care to expound?
The new guy isn't in the media enough. He's not as funny as she was.
He's not as hateable as she is, as I think sexism is just like more openly accepted than racism. And he's got the race card that he can play that he hides behind when everyone's ragging on him. He has a little more elusive of a character. Well,
He's a smoother operator.
For sure. But he is scum. He is scum.
Oh, for sure.
Traitor to the king.
Not funny scum, though.
But yeah, no, I thought that was great. Liz Truss, the fucking clip of her saying that I am resolved to keep this government going and that's what we're going to do. And then like 10 seconds later, but in reality, it was a couple hours later that she's been like, I am resigning as prime minister. Like the same day you give that speech in the House of Commons, that'll be there forever, right? Those documents, they're going to stand the test of time. That's tough look. Like that.
Well, fortunately, once you're dead, doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah, but she has to live the rest of her life with the anxiety knowing that she fucked up so badly that little boys and girls forever are going to be like, wow, what a moron.
She'll get over it.
She'll be a minor character in the end.
She already stepped down, whatever. Yeah, exactly. She's over it, I'm sure.
Okay, this is the last bit I've got, so I hope you guys have something else to fucking do.
You were going to be so disappointed in about 3 minutes.
Okay, well, then I'm going to do this other bit that I've got in reserve first then. So DJ, a number of weeks ago now, I think, was talking about how he didn't have a review for the Barbie movie, but that he couldn't wait for the Barbie
videos.
reviews to come out, right? And
Yeah.
I've seen a take that I think can stand in for the Gatto Institute's position on Barbie. And the Kens were an internal colony revolting against their oppressor, and the film's POV is a counter-revolutionary. Greta Gerwig obviously opposes Palestinian resistance and the Haitian Revolution.
Yeah.
The official stance on Barbie by the Gatto Institute. That's a joke, obviously. Barbie was a good movie from what I've heard. Still haven't seen it yet. I'm on it.
Yeah.
I will get to it.
Apparently, right wingers are appropriating Ken
Oh yeah.
and just like making right wing memes out of him. Like,
What's
oh,
it-
sex work is work or whatever. And then there's a picture of Ken that's like, why don't you put it on your resume then?
Ryan
something.
Gosling was already the right wing meme, right? And so of course he was incorporated. And you know what? He leads a man revolt against a woman dominated world. That's the fantasy that they live in already, right?
It is.
Like
Absolutely.
yeah, like
No, I really do feel like that movie was there to speak to young men.
oh, it
Or
blew
at
that,
least the
didn't
subtext.
it?
At
You
least
know,
the subtext was. The text,
of-
maybe not.
Both those movies blew it, Oppenheimer and Barbie. Then, because like they're both right wing talking points now. They both are memes for them. That's all it turned out to be. Nobody went and
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
your fucking movie.
That's true for pretty much any movie, though.
True.
Except maybe Avatar.
No, definitely Avatar. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
I think I've worked out the. This could kill time.
Absolutely go for it.
Here's a
'Cause
prediction.
Who wants to talk about fucking Ukraine again? I was dreading it.
Yeah. That was a good article that you shared, though. I enjoyed that. We'll
Which
come back
one?
to that next week. The Foreign Press, FP, whatever, Foreign Affairs.
Let me
Or
go
maybe
look
it was
for
on Reddit. Okay, maybe. Yeah, we'll circle back to that. Here's my prediction in Avatar: Saturday, the 23rd, 2022, or 2023.
Hmm. I
There's,
thought it was the
there's
29th.
whatever today is. It's fall
It's September.
2023.
Give her.
Yeah, the second movie came out a year ago.
Right.
And I think what's going to happen over the course of the next 3 movies is it's going to be revealed that the Na'vi were formerly a very scientifically advanced species. But
Mhm.
something changed in how they were living where they decided to,
Return to Nature. That's fucking so good.
yes, but in not through nuclear annihilation or anything crazy like that, through like a conscious uncoupling of
movement.
technology.
Yeah.
Or maybe bioengineering or something like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That
whatever.
explains why they're blue.
Right?
No.
Wait.
No. I
does-
knew Julia was gonna bite on that too. I was like,
I did, and then I stopped and went, wait a minute.
you got to be more. What's it called? Contradictory. Whatever. Not contradictory. No, you're not contradictory. You're. What's the word I'm looking for? Combative in your personality, and then you won't fall trap to things like that. If your first instinct is always no, you'll never fall into something like that.
Yeah, but then you miss other opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And you miss good jokes from DJ. Fuck.
So,
No.
how many films are there supposed to be? 5 in total?
There's going to be 5 in total.
So you're telling me within the course of the next 3 movies, they're
That
going
will
to
be
draw this
revealed?
out to be like, hey, the Na'vi were smart and good and burned coal and gasoline, and then said,
Something, yeah.
no
Something
more.
to that effect.
Don't you feel like that's just a little cheesy?
I mean, yeah, but I think where that's going to go is humanity is going to look at itself and like question, is that something we want to do? Is that like on the table for us? Would that be a possibility? Because, these people are living pretty good lives in this environment. Like they're all happy. And General Quatrich is going to be the
Face turn.
fucking focal point for that. Yeah. Because he's the fucking hard ass Earth man who's now living in a blue body. He's like, oh shit, like, no, this feels better than human subjectivity feels.
Yeah, it's not a bad plot line. I truly hope that they still turn it to the Na'vi lead a narco bomb throwing campaign to overthrow the not the Canadian government. That's a Freudian slip and a half there, isn't
Wasn't gonna
it?
call you out on it, but yeah.
The world government at fucking whatever the fictional world of the Avatar universe.
They overthrow the Bridgehead City or whatever it was.
Yeah. No,
I
they get back to Earth and overthrow the government on
Oh,
Earth.
even better. I
Yeah.
mean, I hope so too. That wouldn't necessarily be incompatible with what I'm predicting here. But yeah, no, I'm. That's what
Wouldn't
I'm
that
thinking.
lead to more of a oh, we are the monsters now kind of trope?
What do you mean?
Wouldn't they
In
need
humanity?
to get all the way back to Earth, right? You're talking about these currently like late tribal stage people. You're telling
Yeah.
me they'd have to advance to such a point by like tech stealing that they could blast
Well,
off, land on Earth, and invade properly, and then beat them up.
it would be a stretch for
You're
sure.
telling me that wouldn't end in a like a look in the mirror, look in the shattered mirror on the crumbling ruins of Earth, and Navi of the day, Navi of the movie going, "Oh, am I the monster?"
Maybe.
On the note of Freudian slips, I had what's it called, an experience with a great Freudian slip recently. My constitutional law professor asked the class, what is common to the institution of constitutional courts? And constitutional courts are courts that just deal with constitutional questions.
Mm-hmm.
They appear in the nations of Germany, Italy, and Chile. And the answer that I gave was, well, they seem to be anywhere the Americans have just been very recently, right? And he Freudian slipped and he said invasion after he was like, check. And I was like, that's so good. You admit you're right. You know I'm right. Yeah, but anyways, speaking of American fucking psyops and operations, let's turn back to the war in Ukraine. That should be over by now.
Yeah.
Kind of a week of new stuff to talk about. I did a Google Maps search of and well, first I checked the front line on the map that I always go to, which is by Deep State Live, which is a map maintained by the Ukrainians. And then I looked at a city that was nearest to where the front line was at the beginning of the summer offensive, and then I looked at where the greatest extent forward that it got, and I picked a city that was near enough through that. And it turns out that they've driven the Russians back about a drive of 18 minutes. A drive of 18 minutes, 15 kilometers in
Okay.
backroads country. To reach their objectives, they would have to drive 144 kilometers from the original place. And that's to reach the sea. But they also said that they could do what they need from Melitopol, which is a less daunting 115, 130 kilometers, something like that.
Shucks.
Yeah.
Right.
They got some way to go yet.
It ain't happening. The winter's here, right?
They got a month. It's not autumn yet. Come on.
Yeah. And so I've seen speculation online that and you know what? It always changes, right? The fucking excuse to why the American war against Russia needs to fucking go on. It always changes. But the excuse now is that the theory of Ukrainian victory perhaps has been wrong the whole time, and that the Ukrainians have viewed this as a war of attrition from the start, right? A war of fucking attrition with the Russians, right? And this is a theory that's being passed out by CIA assets. So I'm gonna fucking dispute it in case people fucking come up against it. And so the point of the theory is that there's an election next year for president, 2024, right, in March. And so it's politically unpalatable for Putin to call up more people, right?
Right.
And so what they need to do is kill the people that are out there right now, the 600,000 that were mobilized for this fucking war or whatever, right?
Right.
And I just don't get the logic there, right? In my opinion, of course he doesn't want to fucking mobilize more troops, right? That is politically distasteful at the very least, right? I need more of your sons for my fucking graveyard. Great fucking look, right? No good.
Yeah.
But he'll do it again, right? And I had a line with my dad earlier this year. He said something like, we were talking about how many Russians had been lost. It was 200,000 at that point. And he said, I think the Russians will kill him at one point because they'll get tired of it. And I said, there are so many Russians of military age that I think he could lose another 200,000 and like not even face political instability at home, like serious political instability. Like he could lose another fucking swath of humanity like that, just like nothing, like chips at a table, right? Chips at a playing card table. And you know, my evidence of this is some stats that I fucking went and got, right? And so the Russians themselves are a population of like 158 million or something like that. I don't have the exact number in front of me. But the Russian ethnic population, much like the Germans before World War II, extends beyond their borders, right, through the old Soviet territories. And then within the old Soviet territories, there are specified countries that sign up for or are in dispute with this thing called the Commonwealth of Independent States, right? Which is Russia. That's what it is. It's the Russians, right? And the total population of the Commonwealth of Independent States is 239 million people. And the number of Russians, they did a what's it called, a mock mobilization in 2009 of this 239 million people or whatever, and they got 31 million soldiers is the number of soldiers that they could fucking raise, right? They've lost 200,000 in this fucking war, right? That's nothing. It's insignificant. It's statistically anomalous, right? You don't have to worry about it. I did want to say that the source for the 31 million was a man by the name of Konstantin Chuprin, and the Armed Forces of CIS Country and Baltic States Handbook in Russian, Moscow. 31 million people, right? Includes the Baltic states. So let's say that they can't get 11 million people out of that, right? And they can only get 20 million, right? It's still the same scenario, right? They don't care about these 200,000 people. They don't exist. It doesn't matter to these people. There should be peace. The Ukrainians have to go to the talking table, and they're not doing elections there because they know that they should be going to the talking table, and now they're at the behest of Washington. It's dangerous. It should just give in. You've lost the territories you've lost. It's what it is. That's it.
Summer's coming.